All right, welcome back here. We're going to go around the table here in Nobloviating. And I start with you, Mike. I've gotten these other guys' take on this. Do you think at the end of the day, where we are with silver right now, it's going to go up, it's going to go across, or we've seen the worst of it?
I don't know that we've seen the worst of it. I think that Skelos may have a little bit of a problem on his hands. I'm not sure, whether the reports are true that this is happening or not. I think that there is a possibility that you could see some, we still don't know what's going to happen with Senator in Binghamton, Libis. Yeah. We still don't know what the final outcome will be with Libis, but I think that Skelos is certainly in the line of fire. Do I think there's going to be, what's that? No, Dems and Republicans. I think corruption is an equal opportunity problem.
How nervous do you think they are in the executive branch right now?
I don't think they are that nervous. I don't. I think that Preet is getting a bit of what he wanted, which is a rush to sort of reform, sort of dealing with corruption in Albany. I really don't think at the end of the day that the governor and the second floor are going to have that big of a problem.
Dominic, my friend, there's been some interesting developments as it relates to the mayor and the police department. The rift between Police Plaza and City Hall seems to be mellowing a bit. The office, obviously, we saw the huge fights we've seen over everything that the public already knows about. But now you got the sergeants and the lieutenants unions basically reaching agreements. The PBA, who knows where this thing's going to go, but it seems to be heading that we're going to avoid the worst of it. Do you think the worst of it as it relates to de Blasio and the police over the contracts is behind us, or we should wait and see with Lynch?
Yes, it's amazing.
I like how you said yes to two questions. Go ahead. Yeah.
It's amazing what a settlement, 11% over 7 years can do. And I'm referring to the contract the other day for Ed Mullins and the Sergeants Benevolent Association and Mayor de Blasio. You know, it's amazing when you look back at things. My good friend, our good friend to this show, Pat Lynch, I really believe one of the best things that happened to de Blasio is when Lynch stood out there in front of that hospital after those officers got, very sad, had died, and which he said, blood is on your hands, because it has been all downhill from that point for Mr. Lynch, and he's basically been put in a corner by the other police unions, and Mullins is like, hey, de Blasio, you're my man. And so, but it can still flare up as far as the PBA contract, which is still unresolved. But I think Lynch has been boxed in. He's got to play like a good boy.
Interesting for his own election or re-election for Pat Lynch, how much of a push he gets from Fusco and some of the others. Andrew, what to you is the significance of what's happened in D.C. with the legalization of marijuana and basically them telling others, I don't care what you're going to do. We're going to do it our way.
It's
the pot question.
It's a combination. Yeah.
He loves any pot question.
Right after the cop question. So I'll be checking the rearview mirror. I think it's an intersection of a law that I've suggested we should be changing for some time, but so many other problems with it, including a home rule issue for D.C., a states' right issue because people in D.C. voted for it, but they're not a state, so Congress gets to meddle in this. They've threatened to arrest the mayor of D.C. It's led to this weird combination of laws where, you can possess, but you can't buy it. And because of the setup of D.C., federal land versus city land, it's a good policy and a great change that will help reduce some of the differences in sentencing and arrests that's being muddled and stooped, made kind of ridiculous by some of the meddling of Congress.
Now, I know, Jessica, you'd love me to ask how nervous the governor's office may be over the investigations per Mr. Silver and where it may go, but I want to get your take on this because I took the approach that Joe Biden got a real pass here over what happened at the swearing in of the new defense secretary. People laughingly call him Crazy Joe and stuff, but to say he got handsy is being polite. It was a little on the creepy side. Made a joke about it recently, but to your end, do you think there's a generational thing? You don't have to name names or anything, but in Albany here, you're a power broker, but obviously, we spoke about this with Shelley Mayer, and she said, yeah, some of these guys, they haven't gotten the memo that it's 2015, you know?
God, yeah, that Albany is like a different animal when it comes to that. I don't know that I would say that he was like actually trying to hit on her. I think he's just, you know,
I mean,
you
you
play
got
the
cameras and her husband's right
It
there.
was so inappropriate, but like everyone, I think, is so accustomed to associating him with huge gaffes that he did sort of get a pass with it. I don't know that he was like whispering in her ear, you know, want to go upstairs later, but that certainly is a problem with many
do
of them.
women in politics and surrounding have to sometimes feel, especially if it's a person of influence, a vice president or whatever, even if it's
Yeah.
that I got to bite my tongue and
Yeah,
laugh
I'd
along
want
with
to
this
turn
when it's
around
really
and,
not
you know,
funny?
elbow him, but you can't really do that
But
because
you
he's
would
the
take-
vice
you would take
president.
Biden
So.
over Clinton, right?
Well, yeah, that's a whole other. We don't have enough
couldn't help
time.
yourself.
We don't
You
have
can't
enough.
help yourself.
We don't have enough time to
Well,
go down that road. But
well, finally, before we do run out of time, with what we saw today, but also where it is right now, a lot of interesting stuff, but so polarizing. Do you miss Washington the farther you get away from it, or are you happier that you say, you know what, I like where I am. I'd rather be here than there.
I feel like Napoleon on the island of St. Helena.
No.
I do. I would love to be in the fight.
Really?
Oh yeah, because there's such huge opportunities
Even
for
as
people.
dysfunctional.
Well,
and-
you don't have to be dysfunctional yourself, and it would stand out in the crowd. I think.
God, you would. It still
So
drives
anyway.
us crazy here. The way that all shook out. On your worst day, you were better than what it came out with. But anyway.
And that's because he doesn't pay me a thing to be here.
Hey, get in line. All right, anyway, thank you all very much here. Good conversation. When we come back, I'll have a look at some news making headlines. Stay with us.